Hey everybody, how's it going? We're going to do a quick Fusion video here on modifying high resolution, high poly count STLs in Fusion. What you need to do to them to convert STL files into bodies for you to actually add features to and modify. And then once you've lost that detail, because you've had to sort of knock down the resolution, how do you get some of it back? And it involves a second step of exporting out to MeshMixer and playing with it over there. So the simple example I'm going to show you, you could certainly do all of it in MeshMixer, no problem. I get that. I do it all the time. MeshMixer is great at doing simple modifications, like adding a cylinder or a hole or a tube or something inside. This is if you need to add finer tuned features within an STL file or internal structures in a model. More intricate things that you can't necessarily do with MeshMixer because it's just not what it's for. So we're going to do our design and functional work, modifying the STL inside Fusion, and then export it out and refine it with MeshMixer. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to go to the Insert menu, Insert Mesh, and I've got this Rust furnace model from the game Rust. And it's a very cool model, and I thought, I'd like to print it and hollow it out and maybe put in like an LED light with a hole out the back to house a cable, the power cable. But I need to add those features in here. And the two little simple features, like I said, I am going to add. I could do it in MeshMixer, no problem. Think a little beyond my example, and if you're going to do some more intricate work, this is how you'd want to do it. So say OK here, so we're going to insert this mesh, and you can tell just by zooming in here, there are lots of triangles, lots of facets. It is a high detail model. I think there's 160,000-ish facets here to deal with. So to convert this, we're going to do a couple things. First, right click, do not capture design history. OK. And then if right off the bat we try and convert this, so we've got our mesh body here. If we right click and say mesh to brep, we've already got it selected, we hit OK. It's going to puke on it. Once 160,000 plus conversion has been aborted. You don't have an option, you just have to stop there. So you got to knock this down. You got to knock it down to a phase count that Fusion can handle. So what we do is go over here to the mesh workspace, go to modify and reduce. We're going to pick our mesh body. And I always like here, it's fine with taking adaptive on your reduce type. On the reduce target, I select a number of faces I want to get to. And I found about 40,000-ish is a good number that Fusion will take. Not necessarily like it, but it'll take it. So, okay. So we're doing that, get it down to about 40,000-ish faces. And this will, there we go, we're good. So now we're going to go back to the model workspace. And before we can do anything with this, we need to convert it. So now we're going to do this again, right click, mesh to brep. And we're going to say OK. And now we get a thing that says, hey, look, this has 40,000-ish faces. I don't recommend it. Do you want to convert? Yep, you do. So this will do its thing for a minute, and I'll sit here and sing you a song. Probably not, but it shouldn't be too bad. I don't have the highest performance computer here. Oh, that wasn't too horrible. Oh, it's tricking me. It's not really ready yet. It's almost there. Almost there. So now we'll have our original mesh body, and then we have a solid body that we can play with. So if you had tried to add features to this mesh body, it wouldn't have let you, right? If you had tried to put in a cylinder and do a subtraction like a cut, it would not have let you. So there we go. Excuse me. It's late. Look at the time. It's almost midnight. So now we can safely delete this mesh body. Goodbye. And now we just have our plain body here. And it's still thinking about something. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to add a cylinder to the bottom. I'm going to add two holes to this, and a cylinder back here, right down here in this bottom plane. I'm going to do C for circle, and then come on in here and just do this at 20 millimeters. And I'm going to do E for extrude, and I'm going to bring this in 15. And it is cutting into that. I hit OK. So now, right, we're our body's something we can play with here. So there you go. Cut it up in there. Maybe cut a little too deep, but that's okay. And now I want to do something in the back here. So I'm going to do another C for circle. And I'm going to put it on this rear face. Oops, did the wrong thing. Escape, stop. C for circle. And put it on, if I can get to it. There we go, that one there. And right about here, I'm going to do a 8mm hole. Turn and look, grab it. E for extrude, pull it out the back. It's going to cut a hole. And bang, zoom. I'm good. Now, like I said, if you wanted to add finer details inside these two features, if you needed to add a lip, if you wanted to add a threaded base, if you wanted to do, you know, whatever, those are definitely the types of features and items that you would use Fusion to do. These two little simple things, you could do them both in MeshMixer, no problem. Again, just an example. So here we go. We are all good. These are the two things I want to do. So now let's export this thing out and get ready to play around with it. So here we're going to go to Make. We are going to select our body. And still thinking about it. It's trying. It wants to. There we go. It's all blue and selected now. I'm going to do a high refinement and hit OK. And it's going to ask me to name it, so I'm going to say Rust STL Yo. Just so I know. And down here at the bottom, you can see it's thinking about it, it's trying, it's doing it, and bang, we're done. So let's head on over here to the good old mixer of meshes. We're going to import, and I'm going to import Rust STL Yo. And there we go. So, you know, look, it's not bad, although you can see the triangles here, and whereas before it was very, very smooth. And so what I like to do, if I want to refine this a little bit, is come up here to the Sculpt workspace, and go to Brushes, and come down here to Refine. And then we'll zoom in here a little bit, just so you can get a good look. And click and drag. And it does a very good job at smoothing out a lot of this without killing too much of the detail. And so you don't have to get all crazy with it and go inside too much if things aren't going to be seen, but this does a really nice job on smoothing out some of those surfaces. So if I zoom in here, so you can see over here on the left, over here on the left, the refinement brush has taken good care of reducing those. And you can play over here with the strength and with the size and the depth and, you know, the laziness. I don't know what the hell that is. But I found the really, you know, for the most part, the default refinement settings on this reduction tool is actually pretty good. And so, because if I'm going to resin print this thing, I don't want all these little facets to show. I want it nice and smooth. I want it looking like a rock. And again, if you want to change the size of this tool, you can, so you can get into the crevices like that. And so there you go. So I'm not going to go crazy with this thing, because then all you have to do at this point is say export. So you're going to export again, you're going to have another one, right? And I'm actually going to do this as an STL file, and I'm calling this Rust STL Yo 2. And so now I can dump this into the Photon, I can dump this into Idea Maker, and I've got the features I want, and I'll get a nice detailed part out of it. So there you go. Hopefully that's helpful to you if you're struggling at all. Like I said, you can, if you've got a sort of a low poly model, you can bring it into MeshMixer and just make it high poly by using this tool. If you want to add features, do what I did. And you can see by the inside it kind of got a little jacked when I was going a little aggressive with that tool. But come back here and say replace. Let's bring in the original yo. You see right there, nice and clean. They just got dirty because I jacked with it too much. So there you go. Sorry it's been so long since the video. Been busy in the shop with some new tools, and the channel's gonna not change too much. I'm gonna be adding to the channel, so if anyone's interested in some of the other tools I have, like the resin printer, I've got a Photon. I've had a Photon for about 8 months now. Recently just bought a laser cutter, which has been a lot of fun. Finding anything and everything to just cut with a laser, and really sort of merging multiple processes together. So FDM printing and resin printing, and then laser cutting, and even I've got a vinyl cutter too, so I've been cutting decals. It's been a lot of fun to kind of grow the shop and grow the business and do all that stuff. So again, sorry it's been a while since I've done videos, but we'll get back on the bandwagon here and hopefully do some new stuff. So have a good one.